Day
Good morning.
24.
We normally chit chat for a little bit before we get started, but I was like, start the recording.
She's like, has a list of things to talk about, apparently. Okay.
No, I just want to hear about you've had crazy weather. And I just want to talk about it. I just want to just talk about it instead of talking about it and then talking about it again on our recording.
Okay. I will say, knitting related, this has been my favorite accessory in the last 3 days.
Oh,
Because obviously I can pull it up, right? And then I
yeah.
have like a hat, a fleece hat that has the mask that you pull up. But I like this too, because look.
Nice. You get your little babushka hood.
Well, right. And then you can, yeah. So it's
That's
been
awesome.
icy and thawed. I don't countless times the last 3 days. So, I mean, that's a little gross because it's your condensation, but whatever. It's super cool.
Right.
Yeah, now I just want to knit all the cowls. And if people want to know what this pattern is, it's the 3-color cowl by Hohi Locatelli. It's called 3-color cashmere cowl. Mine's not cashmere, but whatever. It was a really fun knit because there's some stripes and some little eyelets down here. See, there's an eyelet. There's my finger. And I don't know. It just, it's enough to keep you interested, but it's not super difficult.
Nice.
Oh, but I want to say, later on in our series, we have a podcast interview with a pattern designer, Crystal Hyatt from Millie's Hand Knits or Millie's Knit Design.
Yes.
Millie, yeah. She just came out with a new cowl in DK, and now I want to knit all the cowls.
All the cowls.
So
Well,
I
that's
might
my
do
kids
that.
always harass me because I'm always knitting something for my neck, a scarf, a cowl, a shawl. They
But this has
ask
been
in
great. I've done chores. I mean, I still have it on from this morning. The dampish part that was frozen, I switched around to the back.
Yeah.
Rotate and keep
fresh.
going
Get
until
a
it's
fresh
laundry time.
angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you linked me. I'd been hearing stories about how fast the temperature drop was.
Oh, it was
And
ridiculous.
you linked me to a report last night that was saying it broke the record for temperature drop within 10 minutes. It dropped 32 degrees within 10 minutes.
Yeah. We were outside. I mean, I felt it. It was disturbing.
I bet.
It was like stepping into a locker, a freezer locker. Yeah. And then the wind came up and it was like, oh. But things are improving. Yeah, I linked you to the Facebook. Our local National Weather Service office in Cheyenne has a Facebook page, and they, do reports and graphics, and that's some of the stuff that I share on my public. Yeah. Anyway, and it was amazing from a meteorological perspective. It was just amazing to see that happen. I mean, scary and disturbing, but also interesting. Yeah.
Right.
So, but the chicken report. Not your chicken.
How are the chickens? Chicken. How did the goat yurt do?
Everybody's fine. It's amazing how resilient. I mean, they're cold, but everyone's eating. You just put out more food. You do the best you can to keep everyone out of the wind. The chickens. We had a little dog carrier that we moved them in because we moved them from where they were in the like big area to a smaller hut, thinking it would be more protected from the wind and because of location, whatever. So 3 or 4 of them stayed in the little dog carrier thing and kept each other warm. And then they've got this little pile of eggs they've been sitting on in there. I mean, I'm sure the eggs are frozen now, but it's all right.
Right.
They'll thaw. It's fine.
Okay. Keeping them busy, giving them some purpose in the madness.
And it's not like the eggs are fertile, but they don't know that.
Right.
I mean, we don't have a rooster, but yeah, but everybody's fine. And the goat yurt turned out to be not a yurt in shape, but the idea was the same.
Right. To have
so it worked. We just wired up pallets and we stuffed hay down there for insulation. And then if you followed my Instagram, they just eat it. So it's like they have breakfast in bed. We just keep stuffing it in there. And then we just put a big hay tarp, like those big 15 by 30 really heavy tarps. We put that over the top and weighed it down on the side so it wouldn't slump. And a bunch of them went in there. And yeah. Ruminants are amazing. I mean, they just it's like their internal furnace. As long as they just keep eating and they're warmer. I mean, they're not happily warm, but they're
making do.
They're not a death's door, put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hooray, it's supposed to be above 0 today.
Good.
So I'm excited about that. It's the small things. And my
0
house was
Fahrenheit for you
oh, yeah.
Europeans.
Yeah,
It's
and my
still
house was
below
like 6
freezing.
my house was above 60 degrees Fahrenheit when I got up this morning. Yay!
Nice. Yay. Things are working. Hooray.
Yeah. Oh, and oh my gosh, let me just say I'm so thankful we did not lose power and I did not have pipes that froze
Awesome.
because we left the faucet trickle.
Yeah.
So yay. I mean, I'm
Good.
happy.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you made it through that
Yeah,
bit of
without
crazy weather.
yeah.
That's
And my
awesome.
mom is fine if people are curious. She's doing fine. We took an extra heater over there, one of those circulating oil
Uh-huh.
portable ones
Oh,
that looks like a
I have one in my
radiator.
office. I love
Yeah.
those things.
She
Yeah.
has a couple of those, plus she has this, fake fireplace looking plug it in heater thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And her like house is 400 square feet. So she's toasty.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's baking. So yeah.
Living the life. Awesome.
Yeah, I've been knitting, lots of knitting.
Yeah. I have been too. Tell me what you've been knitting.
You go next. I talked a lot about weather.
Oh, okay. Well, I have two things to talk about, I guess. Hold on, let me finish this stitch.
Okay, I'll have some coffee
Okay.
because it's 7:36.
You're still waking up. So Sanderling, I finished the sleeve.
Ooh.
Sorry, here's my mask. I'm just pulling it out of my knitting bag right now. So I have one sleeve done. Woo.
Yay.
And last night I was watching TV with my oldest and picked up and started knitting the second sleeve. So I'm
Nice.
just that far.
Were you
I
watching?
haven't even started the decreases yet on it. I have like another half-inch to go on that.
Were you
So
watching anything good?
we were watching Willow, which we've been watching. Like there's a new series on Disney Plus of Willow that my oldest really loves, and they've been very nice and waiting for me to have time to watch. So we haven't caught up yet. There's 5 episodes and now we've watched 4.
Okay.
So
Cool.
watching that. And it's so funny because we're watching it and we're just like, and my oldest goes, sometimes they just say a lot of words and expect that to make sense. Because, it's high fantasy. So it's like people's names and the places and the titles of their weapons and stuff like that. So every now and then there's a line where it's just like,
What?
what?
You're like, just knit, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. And then the other thing, so before I could do that last night, I had to do a Zoom call. That was like an actual meeting rather than like knitting.
Rather
But I've
than chit-chat with
discovered
me?
that, yeah, like knitting with you or knitting with my patrons, like for me, it's like Pavlovian now. When I'm on Zoom, I have to knit because that's what I do on Zoom is knitting activities.
Yeah.
So I realized as I was sitting down that I didn't have anything, like I hadn't picked up the sleeve yet and I couldn't do that in a Zoom meeting. So I cast on for ripples. So ripple is on the needles. I've just now, as we were talking, added the second color in the corrugated rib, which
Okay.
but yeah, so I'm like on the 4th round of ripples. And I'm doing the extra large because I'm a pair and I could get away with the large on the top, but with my hips, it wasn't like I want it to have that opening.
Boxy.
Yeah, and it wasn't going to have quite enough looseness there. And I'm like, the whole thing's supposed to be boxy, so I'll just do the extra large.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've cast on with that. And I have actually talked, so those of you who might be interested in doing the ripples, and I'll show it really quick again. This is the one here that I've cast on.
Yeah, and I'll put a link in the video description too, like I did in the previous episodes, but I'll do that again because it's I want to make it. Yeah.
Right. And Hilly
bottom up.
Right. Hilly Vandersloot is the designer, and and it's done in the round till you get to the sleeves, and you do back and forth, and then you pick up and knit the sleeves. Anyway, so it's an easy sweater knit. I heard from her, and she said she already has it sized up to a 2XL, and it's been test knit. It's ready to go. It's just the holidays right now, So early in the new year, it should go live on Ravelry with an update to the 2XL size.
Okay, good to know.
So just so people know.
Yeah, because I'm like an apple shape. So I'm
getting more apple-y now with the whole time of life issue. I don't like it. whatever. It is what it is.
It's
So, and
okay.
I figured, you know what? If I stay an apple, I stay an apple, but this sweater will accommodate an apple or a pear. So,
Yeah, more like a watermelon, actually. You know, like if you had a watermelon that was like turned up on its end.
I'm like, "Ooh,
Oh, or a barrel, just like
I'm a
okay,
barrel."
pineapple. I'll be a pineapple. I'm
You
a
got to start
pineapple.
spiking the hair, Jana.
I know. Oh,
Oh,
me.
weren't you supposed to get purple? Did you have to cancel or reschedule?
Well, yes, because it was like
Yeah.
-10 and 50-mile-an-hour wind, and we weren't sure how much
Yeah.
snow we were gonna get, and I'm like, "I'm not going to town in that. I don't wanna risk getting stuck in town." What
Yeah.
if they
There's been a
close the
delay in the
interstate because
purple.
of visibility? If they close the interstate, then I'm like,
Right.
"Ah." So I texted my person and told her this is the second time because the previous week we had a blizzard. So we had to reschedule again, and she
Do you
says,
feel
"Oh,
like the
well."
universe is trying to tell you something?
Yeah. Okay, so here's my first world problem. She's like, "Oh, well, I don't have any openings." And I'm like, "Well, it's okay if it waits. It's just purple streaks. It's no big deal. It's okay if it waits
Right.
till, sometime in January." She goes, "Oh, well, I'm moving." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh, no.
And she goes, "Well, I'll try to get you in before I go." But I mean, I'm happy for her because she's moving to Texas to be with her fiance and she super
Uh-huh.
hates Wyoming winter. So, yay, I'm happy for her. But I'm first world problem. I'm annoyed because I mean, I'm not annoyed. I'm a little panicky. I need a good DIY haircut. That's what I need.
You need to get a Floby. I'm
Okay.
having to unknit right now because I changed color at the half mark instead of at the full.
Okay. If viewers don't know what a Floby is, it's basically a vacuum with an attachment that you just vacuum your head and it cuts it.
Yeah,
Like
and it had different lengths, so you could do, long on top, short on sides. Yeah, you need a Floby.
Have you ever had one?
No, I just remember the commercials.
Uh, so I don't know. I told my husband, maybe I should just buzz it and then, right? And he's like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, well, but he's like, no. And he never like tells me what to do or anything because
Never
I
emphatic
mean,
like that.
right. And I'm like, well, I don't need your permission or your approval. And he goes, well, I know, but I just really hate that. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I said, but I don't recall you asking me about your facial hair ever. And he goes, oh.
So I saw a reel the other day that was like asking women about where they get their hair cut, and it was like then it showed a woman talking and it was like, well, so my lady moved, so sometimes she comes back to visit family and I can get it cut then, but if it's going to be too long, I just fly out to California and have a girls weekend and get my hair cut, and I'm like, what? Is that real? But the thing is, Jana, I've met two women from different circles of my life in the last year who that is basically their story. Like they found someone who they like how that person cuts their hair. And so if they're like, they will wait months and have the haircut when they're going to be in the same space with them. And I'm like, wow, that's dedication. I would just have a bad haircut for like 6 months before I found someone new.
Well, the problem is either you do it yourself or you hunt down someone new. But the issue with that is
Yeah.
I feel like Amity understands me. And I've been with her
Yeah.
for years and she understands me. And I'm not that easy.
That's what I love about my current person. Hold
Yeah.
on, I got spit splice. No,
Okay. Don't mind you. And starting
what I
someone new, you got to go through that whole get to know you phase. And it takes
yeah.
time.
Yeah, I had a really bad experience. Well, I had a good person before we moved back here and it took years to find him. So then I had like a good person for like 5 years and he would listen and he took forever to cut my hair, but I loved it. And then moved back here and couldn't find anyone. And so I started just getting it done at like cost cutters and whatever. Like because the girls had really basic haircuts. So I would just take them to like the $15 place and have it done there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess like this is where I'm getting my haircut too. And it was sometimes good, sometimes bad. And this one lady came back. She did a good cut in the fall, but then they wintered in Florida. So she came back in the spring and I was like, oh, she's back. She can do it. And it was like she was manic that day. And she was like, I'm gonna like, I know a cut for you. I'm just gonna do it. It's gonna be beautiful. You're gonna love it. And at that point, I'd already had like my long swoopy for like 5-6 years at that point, and she cut it here. And that was her. She was doing like a French bang, but that was not what I wanted at all. And she just kept like short. And finally, like halfway through, I was like, I need you to stop now. And she was like, but it's almost done. Like, it's going to be so cute. Blah, blah, blah. Like, she was just like, and I was like, I need you to just stop what you're doing. And I got up and I went to the counter and I paid. And like the kids were having theirs, I paid for theirs and I just left. I just went and I was just like on Facebook, I was like, look, this just happened. I need someone else like immediately. Can someone recommend someone? Because it was half cut, you know?
You're like, stop.
Stop. I was just like, you're not listening. So I went to this lady. She's literally a mile and a half down the road.
Right.
She's been cutting my hair since then. But the thing that sold me on her was first time meeting her, right? She came around in front of me and sat down on a bench and was like, so tell me about your hair.
She just wanted to listen.
And then I started crying.
Oh, I know. Because you're like,
I was so traumatized. And she just like, it was like therapy, you know? And then she did this and she didn't listen, you know, just, and I love her because we just sort of fell into like, this is just going to be quiet time, you know, like I go in and I sit quietly and I think she likes it too, because they have to talk to people all day long, you know? So we just have quiet time and we're nice to each other and like a little bit of pleasantries and then just quiet time. And I'm just, and I get my hair cut and it's wonderful. I have one on Tuesday coming up. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Oh, I found my hairdryer.
Oh, yeah? Did you leave it out by the pipe?
No, but it was outside.
Did the goats get it?
No, but I had picked it up and taken it over to the barn door and then set it down on a stump by the gate. And I forgot that I had done that. But when I went looking, I was like, oh, of course. But I do that all the time. Like I'll have my travel coffee cup and I'll take it outside and set it on the post by the gate. And I'll go through the gate, do my thing, come back out, forget my cup on the post. One time I had to walk the entire circumference of the property to find my cup. That happens more in the summer. I usually take my coffee out when it's -12.
I have a very exuberant imagination, in case people haven't noticed. So there's one of those travel cups, you know, the tall ones. So like at the church, going up the little stairs to this one entrance, someone obviously just left it somewhere and someone picked it up and put it like under the metal bars of the handle, you know,
the railing.
The railing. Thank you. It's been there for like 3 weeks now. Like no one's claimed it.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it. I had to go to the church the other night to do youth group and I was waiting for someone with the key to come and I was just staring at that going like, is that a bomb now? Like, was that like, is it belong to no one? And so no one's claiming it and it's really a bomb. And if we like kick it or something, it's going to explode. This is where my brain goes, Jana.
Catastrophic thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you leave it there?
Yeah, I left it there because it could be a bomb.
I would have been like,
I don't want it to explode on me, Jana. It could be a bomb. Were you not paying attention?
Okay. Okay, we'll go get one of those grabby things.
But what if it's like triggered by motion? So then I was like, maybe I got to call the police and be like, there's this suspicious cup outside this church. Can you please send a bomb dog or
Or the
robot.
R2D2 looking bomb disposal robot thing.
Yeah, one or the other. Either would work.
I think we watch too many movies.
I think so too. I blame British detective dramas.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new one I watched.
Okay, what's it called?
It's called Karen Pirie, P-I-R-I-E.
Oh, I think you told me about this.
Yeah, and it's on Acorn or BritBox. I forget. It's whichever. Yeah. I have both, so I can't remember. But yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Cool.
Yeah. She's a younger detective and she gets promoted, but she's unsure about her promotion because she doesn't really feel ready for it. And she's worried that they're just like ticking the box for having a woman in that position.
Right.
But she's brilliant in a understated, goofy kind of way.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked it.
Kind
But
of
it's
like
just season
Jana.
1. You know, there's only like 3 or 4 episodes. You know how the British they have like, but the episodes are longer.
And it's done.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's how. Did we talk about Inside Man on here? I think I told you about Inside Man. That's how that show is. It's like 4-hour-long episodes.
Oh, okay.
So it's quick. It's a quick watch.
Oh, so remember how back to knitting? No segue. Good. Do you remember how I told you I was gonna like put the habitation thing to the side? And okay, so
yeah, we didn't talk about your knitting.
Ooh.
Oh, you got a clog done. Nice.
Well,
I
mean, I'm almost. I have to knit the second sole because those
are going to be cute.
Yeah. So my sister knows about this. So I texted her like color combination possibilities from what I have. And so that's what she picked.
Nice.
This is Lamb's Pride Brown Sheep Company, Lamb's Pride Bulky. The pattern calls for worsted held double, but I've done it with bulky and it's fine.
Yeah.
And theirs is 85% wool, 15% mohair. So it's durable. It's single.
That's about what this one is.
Yeah.
My Sanderling is a wool mohair blend. I really like it a lot.
And it's single ply, so it will felt well. It felt easy. So I've made many a slipper. I think this is like my 37th pair of clogs with various yarns, but a lot of them have been Brown Sheep, Lamb's Pride, either the worsted or the bulky.
Is that the one you prefer to make them in now at this point?
I just seem to have a lot of it. I mean,
you live so close to them; it's easy to get to.
Yeah, because I've been to their factory seconds store, so you know it's easy to get a hold of it at a really good price. Oh, I was watching Shetland last night when I was doing that. Yay!
I can totally watch those again because I don't remember who did anything.
Yeah, you could just start over.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of chit chatting for today. Should we open our?
Yeah, we chatted a lot.
We had a lot to talk about.
Well, I'll go first because we have the interview today as your person.
Do it.
So it's Christmas Eve, by the way. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas Eve to people. Day 24.
Nice. Ooh.
Rentis Geo. So I realized that they didn't put the name of the yarn company on here on their labels.
Oh.
So just as a reminder, these are from Aister, and we did have an interview with them.
Yeah.
A few days ago. And sorry, it's Rentis Geo. I think they do it with a hard G. Geo, not Geo. Okay. So here's all the colors. Let me.
And
this isn't all the colors. Sorry, this isn't all. We still have more yarn to come.
That's what you have so far.
Yeah, this is what we have so far.
And I do have links in the video description to their web shop.
Right. Yeah, I had someone who I don't think is watching our thing email me and was like, "This yarn's beautiful. What is it?"
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "Sorry, I did not notice that." So so that's
nice.
More Aister.
Okay. So do you know where we're going?
Oh, well, that's got to be Maryland, right?
Yes. And I mean, that's a crab, not a lobster. Just saying.
Yeah, that's definitely a crab.
Okay.
Good job.
This is from Stephanie from Verse Yarn. She's delightful. We've had her we've interviewed her last year and this year both.
Yes. And she's our interview for today
Ooh.
in a little bit. Stick around for
Ooh,
that.
wow. That's a lovely,
Oh,
it looks gray, but it's kind of a light lavender
it
gray.
looks lavendery
Yeah,
on the screen.
good, because it
And it's
is.
making me think of one of the Disney princesses. Who has a lavender dress? It's like the purple version of Cinderella's blue. Maybe that's what's triggering.
It's even a little lighter than that, I would
Is
say.
it? Okay.
Yeah, but it is lovely. Yeah.
It is beautiful. That's a lovely, lovely.
And let's see. Here was her inspiration photo.
Ooh,
Isn't that pretty?
nice. What did she call the color?
OA Shin, Ocean.
Oation.
Yeah. Local for Ocean City, Maryland. The photo is the Ocean City Fishing Pier. This is a pirouette mini, which is 80/20. Happy Wool Year. Join us online at verseyarns.com. That's
Nice.
beautiful.
That is lovely.
Yeah, that's neat. So Stephanie is delightful to talk to. She's amazing. I don't know how she does it all. I don't know if she doesn't sleep or what, but she's a mom. She's a doctor. A doctor. She's an anesthesiologist. She's an independent yarn dyer. I don't understand how she must be part energizer.
Her voice, I think I said it in the interview, like she needs to read audiobooks as well. I gave her another job to do.
Because you like her voice.
Yeah, she has a beautiful voice.
Yeah. So we'll cut over to that
Yes.
and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, awesome. Happy Christmas Eve to those who are celebrating.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Oh, and we're warming up. Yay!
Yay!
Bye. Hey, we are here on day 24 with Stephanie from Verse Yarns in Maryland. Welcome, Stephanie. Welcome
Hi,
back.
Stephanie.
Thanks for having me back.
Yes. So you started your company in 2020, and I know that there's a poetry connection because we talked before, we talked last year. So can you tell us a little bit about that and also what got you to kind of take the plunge and start hand dyeing yarn?
Okay. Well, let's see. So the name verse is related to poetry and the fact that when we're knitting or recreating pieces, they have a history that we put into that piece. It's
Right.
whatever we're doing at the present time or what could be happening at that moment.
Mhm.
And then that story is told if you hand it down and say, oh, your mother knit this for you when you were 2. This is for you to give to your daughter or your son.
Yeah.
And that story comes with it, right? But I kind of thought about the materials. If you're using something hand dyed, you're taking from someone else's story and inspiration and you're putting it into your work. So the goal is for a verse from my story to become part of yours.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
that's beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's
Beautiful.
fantastic. And you have some amazing yarn too, which
Thank
we'll
you.
talk about in just a moment.
So how did you get started, Stephanie?
Well, initially I started because I was interested in crocheting and knitting and then started to gift knit or gift crochet and decided, well, I'll make it a little bit more special by adding a touch of my own. So why don't I try to dye the yarn and then make the gift? Well, no one ever got their gift. I just kept dyeing yarn.
That's fantastic.
So
Yeah.
has it sort of taken over in general, or have you gotten back to knitting and crochet now and then?
It's a good balance. I have not returned to crochet. I started knitting and then I was sold.
That's same, yeah.
Maybe eventually, but
Okay.
it's
It
my
has
it's
its
my
uses.
it's my technique of preference now.
Yeah.
I've picked up crochet to maybe do a granny square, and then
Mhm.
I didn't realize how much skill I lost.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
true.
could,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's a skill involved. I mean, you just have one hook, and you're just with all the yarn overs and everything that you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I would sit down. It took me maybe 10 to 15 minutes to whip out like a starburst granny square when I
Mhm.
was actually like crocheting it into it. It took
Right.
over an hour.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
how do I do this again? And how do I do the puff stitch? And you
Yeah,
really have an appreciation for crochet after you've walked away from it, not realizing the skill that you gained.
that's
Right.
true. Yeah, I had a similar experience a few years ago when I tried to recreate a shawl,
Mhm.
poncho-y kind of thing that my mother had.
Uh-huh.
And it's just 3 giant granny squares. But yeah, same thing. Like when I got to the first corner, I was like, oh, how does this work again?
Like the head game is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, with knitting, it's just like, okay, I'm either going to knit it or I'm going to purl it.
Right.
The other stuff, they're going to tell me how to do it. But with crochet, you need to pay attention. You need to really have an
Yeah.
appreciation for it. So
Absolutely.
Interesting. I think with
Kudos to you
anything though,
crocheters
you use it or lose it, right?
Yeah.
mhm.
Like with
Right.
languages or any skill, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you get your color let me try that again. Where do you get your color inspiration from as you're deciding on your hand dyes?
So inspiration can really just kind of come from anywhere. Let's see. This one is Fronds and Tendrils. It actually came. It was inspired because we went on a nature walk with the kids, and there were so many ferns as ground cover, and then the little
Oh.
tendrils coming off of the trees.
Right.
So it's just little things we kind of overlook during our day-to-day lives that I'll pick up as inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
That one looks fuzzy. Does it have mohair in it?
This is a Surrey alpaca base.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
It's very fluffy, very
Very
fluffy, and
very
soft.
warm.
Mhm.
And I think those are great yarns. I mean, they look cool and they have that halo effect with your garment, but I can't imagine having to frog it. Like if you, or even to tink it back if you made a mistake, isn't that kind of challenging?
Yeah, so yes, it is. Because when I knit it with like another yarn held together,
Right.
it's a little easier because you can kind of just use the other yarn as your guide.
Yes.
But like I was doing bobbles with it, held double.
Oh,
I was like, we're just gonna skip that bobble and keep going. But no, it's a process to tink back. It is.
but it's so luxurious. I'm sure it feels amazing, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple friends that have made sweaters with, that held, like you said, that held double.
Mhm.
And it's lovely when it's done. But they're just like
Oh,
round and round
right.
stockinette, not a lot of technique. So
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of colors, tell us about your graffiti line.
Oh, yes. So my graffiti line is two bulky bases that I've put together, and I dye them together throughout a long process. The responsibility is to capture any salvage dye powder or residue that's left over in dye cups. Let's say I may have overmixed some dye. I use it to dye a graffiti, and each base starts off with either a neutral, cool, or a warm base, and then I'll layer on top of that. So here's an example of a beginning base.
Oh,
Okay.
And so then I would either add more colors to it. It looks like it's more of an orangey warm tone. So I wouldn't want to layer it with cool colors necessarily and then muddy it out, right?
right.
Unless that's the direction it wants to go in. But it's mostly based on intuition. And then eventually they'll have this saturation.
Ooh,
It's so
wow.
pretty.
We're like all just transfixed by this. So you're
know.
literally using these
This is
big,
like the quietest we've been in, and this is the quietest we've been in an interview so far.
Aw.
We're just like,
because we're like,
That's awesome.
so you're literally using these bulky skeins to like mop up and
Mhm.
recapture any leftovers.
fantastic.
Right. So that it doesn't go in down the drain.
That's
you know?
fantastic.
So
And they're
protect
one
the
of a
environment.
kind. They're one
Mhm.
of a kind, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's
I
one
love
that's
that
basically
idea.
done. This will go into the collection for next year.
Ooh.
Well, unless you mail it to me. So there's two that are
So
similar
the-
then. You do them in two skein bulky batches.
Batches, yes.
Okay.
So the lot number would be a 2,
Okay.
but each one, I dye them as if they're one large skein,
Oh,
but they're 2 individual
Got it.
ones. So it allows me to determine if there's
Okay.
too much of one, of a solid color on one versus how the technique looks on another one. And it's really done so that the maker is able to either go alternate skeins or kind of become more creative with 2 coordinating skeins already. So,
right.
Mhm.
Because what is the yardage of your
I love
bulkies?
this.
they're 212 as a set.
Well, that's
212
good. That okay, it's a set. It's for that's good. You could do a good project with that. Get
Yeah,
a nice bulky
cowl.
scarf or something.
Yeah. They did pretty
Yeah.
well this year. I took them to India Untangled at Rhinebeck, and we
Uh-huh.
had them set up on the table, and we blinked and they were gone.
Oh, bet.
People love
Well,
them.
I can
Yeah.
see why. I mean, it's a one of a kind, it's a special set,
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. So when
That's
you,
awesome.
how often are those on your website?
So they come out once a year. And I do it for something I call Oaktober, which is one of a kind October, basically, kind of a play on words. And that's when the graffiti comes out. And then if I have any yarns that I dyed that are oaks themselves or one of a kinds, I'll add those to the collection as well. But basically, the big feature is the graffiti line. So it comes out in October every year.
Oh,
That's a brilliant idea as well.
so people need to like just hang
Like,
on about the graffiti thing and wait
Mhm.
I
till
need to
October 20th.
mark my calendar.
Yeah, like in September, I
Yes.
start to like late August, mid September, I start to kind of put the pictures out to show each one, and
To
then it
tease
goes live.
everybody.
Mhm.
Be like, get ready.
That's right.
Wow. That's good
Yeah,
to know.
this past collection, what I did was make it so that there were sweater quantities where they
Ooh.
coordinate them. That was a lot of work, but to coordinate them
Yeah.
so that if you wanted to make a sweater, you could potentially make a fade or stripes, but it would all be kind of cohesive with the palette.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all
That's
about the
genius.
fade. Oh, I am all about the gradient
Yeah.
thing. Okay. I'm gonna be take note. Take note. Okay. Take note. Get ready for Oak October. All
Yeah,
right. I
I
mean, I know
know.
it's a
That's a
while away,
brilliant.
but that's pretty exciting. I'll be watching for
That's what
that.
I was saying.
Awesome.
I'm
Jana,
not good at waiting.
when you plan things, then you can look forward to them and know
I'm
that
not a
they're
good.
coming.
Can you? Yeah, she's. I'm not a very good planner.
Ah,
I started my calendar for next year 3 months ago and started adding things.
oh wow, that's
Well,
very good.
And
okay,
it's like, eh.
but are you gonna stick to it?
Well, for the graffiti, I think I shall.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I can harass Jana at another time though. Um,
Always.
we're asking everybody as we interview them this year, because knitters are such multitaskers, we listen to audiobooks, we watch streaming, and we're doing our knitting at the same time. We're asking everybody if they have any audiobook or streaming video suggestions for our viewers.
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. Usually I'm watching knitting podcasts, and I just had a trunk show where I met some mutual fans
Oh.
for Put Together. They asked for some recommendations, and I brought yours up
Oh,
because you did the
thank
soft
you.
knitting tutorials, and they were already aware.
Oh,
that was
thank
pretty
you.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah. But for streaming, let's see. We're talking pre-ads added to Netflix. So the most the most recent thing I watched was Inventing Anna.
Oh,
That
okay.
was
Have you
interesting.
seen that, Jana?
No. Should
I
I?
don't know if you'd love it or you'd hate it.
Well, I guess I could try it and let you
It's
know.
based on like a real
It's
life story of a con artist, basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
But
it's a bit of a true crime theme,
I
yeah.
might like
but
that.
she sets herself up as being like super posh and wealthy
Mhm.
and whatever, and just takes advantage of everybody.
Oh,
And clones the whole nine.
Yeah.
okay.
It was fascinating. It was
I
fascinating
didn't. Yeah.
everything she was able to get away with,
Hmm.
you know?
Wow.
Like,
And you said this is based on a true story?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Like recently.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I
Inventing
think I
Anna.
watched it more so for the actress, who was also in Ozark, and we really liked her work there. So we watched this one, and then we couldn't
That
at
is
first
the
get
lady
past-
from Ozark.
Yes, yes, Ruth from Ozark.
I saw Inventing Anna before I watched Ozark, and I
Mhm.
didn't put the two together. Oh
She's a
wow,
really good
that's
actress.
trippy.
And then watch an interview with her. She will. So the accent that she has in Ozark, or the dialect she uses in Ozark, is completely different than the one she uses in Inventing Anna.
Yeah.
But then she shows you how she layers. It's like 3 accents that she has to layer to achieve that accent. So when you're watching the show, you're like, what is this from? Like, I'm not following, I don't get it. But then when you watch an interview that she did, she teaches you how she layers the accents. It's really cool.
Oh wow.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. So once I
Oh.
started to do the backstory and kind of research it more, it became more of an interesting series to me. For
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. So have you watched
Yeah,
anything
that's
else lately?
I have. I just started watching a few documentaries.
Uh-huh.
We watched one last night called Closed for the Storm.
Oh.
It's about Jazzland in Louisiana. And there was an amusement park that closed down for Katrina, but never reopened.
Oh, okay.
So they're talking about the impact on the community and what happened and, the
Sure.
workforce and everything. Then
Yeah.
there was one before that on cruise ships, like behind the scenes.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll watch this. And it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
They don't conserve a lot. So, but yeah,
Right.
but just the timing of everything. Like they had one example where they shipped pineapple and there was freezer burn on one pineapple on inspection and they sent back the entire lot.
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh my
know.
goodness.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Coincidentally, my daughter just she has a public speaking class for high
Mhm.
school, and she just did a persuasive speech on food waste
Yes.
and, what a problem it is and how ridiculous it is. Yeah, like that. That's ridiculous. One
Freezer burn
pineapple.
on one pineapple in a lot. So they send the entire lot back and they have a deadline for the vendor to replace it before the ship
Wow.
sets sail. Yeah. I'm like, no.
Cut off the bit and
Exactly.
let's go. Let's go. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what did the vendor do? Like
They
put
did it.
one more pineapple and send it back?
No, they accepted the lot back and then they sent a fresh lot,
Uh-huh.
which passed inspection.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's
Mhm.
pretty insane.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow. Does sound interesting. I'm gonna have to look for this.
yeah.
Yeah, that one's on Prime streaming.
What do you have coming up for 2023 besides your whole Oak October?
I have more events. So I'm excited. I'll be at the next one. I can't release yet because they haven't announced it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, keep an eye out. And then after that, I have Yarn Centric, which is the day before Maryland Sheep and Wool.
Okay.
It's like a
Oh,
pop-up
cool. Okay.
right before then for all the festivities. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Mary from 29 Bridges is one of the organizers.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
she interviewed her before as well.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Are
really
you headed west for any reason?
not yet. Nothing confirmed.
Okay. Yeah. And it should be noted too that I think it's truly amazing that you do all this stuff with Verse Yarns and have this thriving yarn shop business going on, and you're a doctor
Mhm.
and you have kids
It's
and a family
amazing.
and all those. I mean, you must like clone yourself somehow. That's amazing. Yeah. So that's fantastic.
That's the secret.
Cloning yourself?
Thank you. Yes.
It must
That's the
be.
secret.
Yes. So we'll put all your social media links down below so people can
Okay.
find you on verseyarns.com, obviously.
Mhm.
Do you have a lot of things in stock regularly, or do you do regular updates?
I'll have an update soon. I'm waiting for the yarn to come back from a trunk show.
Oh, okay.
And then once that comes in, I'll have an update. So usually I announce them either by newsletter or on Instagram.
Okay.
But it will be announced in both places just at different times. Just
Right.
depends.
And getting emails, I mean, newsletter is always more predictable than social media because I just, you know how they say don't build your house on rented land? It's really true. So it's best to sign up for emails because I was following a dyer who I like who's overseas and I haven't ordered a lot just because it's, shipping from overseas. But I realized I haven't seen much of her on Instagram. And then I went to her thing. She's been posting all kinds of stuff, but for some reason it's not popping up. And I was like, well, what's that about?
Yeah.
So
You can get lost in the
The
algorithm.
algorithm.
email's the way to go.
Email's the way to go, especially if you want to be in touch with someone. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So people can sign up for your newsletter and make sure that they get your update
right.
announcement and the
Absolutely.
October. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be reminded.
Yes.
So, thanks for joining us, Stephanie. It's delightful as always to see you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Stephanie.
It's great to meet you.